Hey guys, it's Richard here from Outsourcing Angel, Head of Operations here. And today on this video, I want to share with you 3 key principles that we follow here at Outsourcing Angel to lead our virtual teams and how you can apply for your own business and your own virtual team. The first principle I want to share with you is all about focusing on making their lives easier. This might sound, a bit weird. Doesn't make sense, especially if you're the boss, right? And you hire your virtual assistant or have your team working for you. And you're probably wondering, why is it that I have to focus on making their lives easier? I'm the one that giving them the opportunity here. I want to make it easy for my life. That's why I hired them, right? Exactly, makes sense. But the other thing is, with us here at OA, we're focused on trying to create long-term relationships, especially with our team here. And because the most costly thing you can ever go through in business is turnover, staff turnover. So if you're spending a year with a person and then they have to leave and they have to train up another person, it takes typically 6 months or so before someone becomes what we call, useful in the business, because the first 3 to 6 months is them learning the business, learning you, learning your products, learning your services, right? And learning about their role and their function and where they can add value. And that takes time for someone to build up. And so if you're constantly turning over staff within 12 months or less, right, it's going to be very costly for you. So when I went out into the corporate world was, focus on making your boss's life easier. And since then, I've always, I've transitioned that to when I started running my own businesses to focus on making the lives of the people who work for me easier so that they enjoy coming to work. They love working with me, right? Working with us. And it just creates a win-win situation for everyone, because happier employees, happier virtual assistants and teams will lead to more productivity, will lead into more loyalty with you as well. So that's one of the things I really focus on here. And you got to think about how to make their lives easier. And it's not just, once in a while you have to think about it. Regularly, I always keep it top of mind, like, what are we doing that is adding to their workload, and what are the things can I do to reduce that workload? And so you got to be very observant. And I know as a business owner, it can be very hard to be able to observe everything and do stuff, because I'm pretty sure you're loaded up with whether meetings or delivering work or trying to win more work. It can be very hard, but you always have to make that time to observe what's happening for your team and keep touch with them as well. And that leads into the second principle here that I like to focus on a lot, is what Gary Vee calls the 51-49 rule. What that means is, in a relationship, when you get into a relationship, whether that's like a love interest or even at work or friendships or family, people always think about making things fair. I give 50%, I get 50%. That's what is 50-50. So you get as much as you give. But this is a principle I learned from myself, and then Gary Vee put it in such a succinct way of the 51-49 rule, which is think about, especially as a boss, right? You want to think about giving more than what you're asking from them. So Gary Vee's model says, give 51%, right? I'm giving you 51%, and employee, I'm only asking 49% back. But often in most people, right, who are very kind, loving type of people, and which I believe most of the world is they will always feel like they're indebted to you because you're giving more, you're investing more, you're providing more for them than they are giving back. So then they feel indebted. So then within their own conscience, they want to return it to you so that they paid off that debt per se. And so that's how this 51-49 rule comes into place, which is very succinct on how to actually tie in with the first principle of making their life easier. So I always think about, what else can I do to make it a greater place to work here, to make them want to work with me, right? If I changed companies, if I went to a new industry, would they come with me? And my goal is for them to say, yes, I would follow Richard to the ends of the earth, of sorts. And so that's where the second principle is solely focused on, is giving more to your VA, to your employees, than you ask of them. And that creates a vicious winning circle for everyone, because the employees get more, but they also, in turn, most of the time give back more too. And they start excelling and doing more than what you expected them to do, because you're the first one to give more. And you have to take that first step of giving more. If you don't take that first step, who's going to take that dance, right? Who's going to get on the dance floor? No one is. And so that's why it's super important from our end, right, that we always trying to be generous, try and be more than fair here. Like literally, I'm not here to be fair, I'm here to be unfair. And what I mean is I want to give you more so that you love this place, you love this company so much, you love working for me so much that you just want to stay here. And it'll be the biggest breakup of your life to try and leave. And that's one of the things we want to create here. In order to do that, in order for me to give more, I need to understand more of what's happening in their life. What do they care about more? And that's where we have this little template here. It's 4 simple questions I ask my team to fill out. I do one-on-ones, right, every month with people who report directly to me. And it's what I call like the finger on the pulse, right, to really feel what's happening in their lives, in work, at home, whatever it is, whatever's troubling them. I'll share the template down below here in the link underneath in the comments. And what it's all focused on is there's 4 simple questions you ask every month. You make sure the most important thing around this is about making sure your team fills this in beforehand. They have a moment to think about. It's creating that room for reflection for them first so they can think about it. And so the 4 questions I ask is, 1, tell me one thing you're excited about in your life right now. Work, personal, I don't really care. I don't mind. I just want to know what excites you. Flip side, second question, what is the one thing that you're really worried about right now? Work, personal, I don't really mind. I just want to understand what's going on with them. Then the third thing I focus on is, so as your boss, what can I do to help make your life easier? You'd be surprised, you probably think, oh, most people are just going to say, pay me more. No, they actually think about processes and what they're doing in their job. And so I focus around that, like, what can I do to make your job easier? Right? 4th question I then ask is, okay, for yourself, what's one thing you want to focus on this month to be better at your job? And that allows them to create clear focus on improving one small area in their work so that they can focus on it for the next month until our next meeting. And, you mix in the rapport stuff as well here. And that's what I do to try and keep focus and keep a finger on the pulse with the people who work with me. And that leads next into the last principle here that I want to share with you when it comes to leading your teams is policy that we have. I was taught from my mentors back when I went to Singapore for a while. And, one of the big things that we want to do here in the company is create resourcefulness. We don't want to create dependencies. If you're creating dependency, it creates a bottleneck in your business, meaning if you're the one that they have to go through to go get something or get approval or get something finalized, then you will always be stuck in your business. Here with us at OA, I'm trying to create it so that I'm not required anymore. My role is not required anymore. And that takes time to build up with people. And so one of the things I always highlight here with my team, ever since I joined probably like 3 years ago, I said, first things first, first week, guys, I have a personal policy here where there's a saying I say, and it's, if you have a problem, I don't want you to bring it up to me without a solution. And so we call it the no naked questions policy. What that means is you can't come to me with a naked question. A naked question is, hey, Richard, I got a problem with this. Or, hey, Richard, how do I do this? Or, hey, Richard, I'm stuck with this. My first question back to you will always be, so what did you try? What did you try? Did you go on Google? Did you go on YouTube? Did you try and find your answer? Have you read up on stuff? Have you, like clicked through certain buttons and tried things? That's the thing I want to see here is that it's not a problem. I don't want to have to face problems here, right? I want you to work on providing solutions. I'm not saying every challenge you're going to face will have a solution, but I want you to have thought about, this is what I would want to do. And you can do this immediately with your team if you already have a team, or even with just one employee. If you're training them and you find that they come to you with problems, problem comes up, okay, so what do you want to do about it? Guaranteed, the first time you do this to them, if they're not used to it, they're going to be like, oh, I don't know, just tell me, Richard. You got to put your foot down when they come in and they're like, Richard, I don't know what the answer is, just tell me, right? It's super easy because you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're probably used to solving problems. And this is the thing, if you keep doing that, like you keep teaching your team, hey, you get stuck on something, come to me, I'll solve your problem for you. And it doesn't empower them. It doesn't give them the tools to go and figure it out themselves, because once they figure out themselves, they actually own it even more. They love it even more subconsciously. It's just the first time when you're giving responsibility, giving accountability to them, they're going to freak out and they're going to not want to take it because it means if I get it wrong, I'm going to lose my job. That's what they're telling themselves in their head. So what you need to do is slowly introduce that in by guiding and coaching them through. So the first time when they do it and you're like, hey, what would you like to do? Oh, I don't know, right? Can you just tell me, Richard? Tell me what the right answer is. Hey, look, let's just pretend we're in an alternate universe and that you know the answer. What would you do? What would you pick to do? And typically 90% of the time, they'll come up with an answer. And from there, if it's right, awesome. Keep going with it. Exactly what I would do, go for it. If they're wrong, take that time. And this is the longer process, right? But this is what I believe is the real keys to leadership is leadership's not about them making you feel like you're important. As a leader, what you want to do is shine the light onto them so that they shine brighter than they ever thought they could. That's what a real leader is here to do. And for you to do that, you got to coach them, you got to instill with them that belief that you know what the right answer is. I'm just here to help you. And so what I would suggest is go through with them. Hey, so great try. Let me help you. Is that okay? You have to get their acknowledgement. Otherwise, they just like, oh, whatever, my boss is just wasting time. No, here, look. So this is why I didn't pick A because of da. This is why I picked B. And you got to explain the why. Otherwise, if you say just go do B, they might be thinking in their heads like, oh, I don't know why we're doing B, just because the boss says so. That's never a good answer. You want to explain the why because why will drive their understanding of a decision. Flip side, if they chose the wrong option or the path that you wouldn't want to go down, ask them to explain, how come you chose B, right? How come you think B was the right thing? I just want to understand. And try to get into their head because what you want to do first is create that bridge of understand how they think. Then we work on that to get them to understand how you think, how you make decisions so that they can make similar decisions like you. And that's how you pass down your principles of making decisions. As Ray Dalio says, is for business to survive, you need to impose your own principles, not impose per se, but pass down your principles of how to make these decisions so that it doesn't require you in the end, okay? Because this is the thing that we want to do. We want to grow you and your team, right? From moving to just doing tasks. We want them to move from there to making decisions for you and your business so that frees you up to make bigger decisions, to focus on the bigger decisions and not be pulled into those normal, small day-to-day decisions. And that's how you get time freedom here. And that's what a real leader needs to be doing here in the 21st century in order to grow their business beyond them and for it to work without you. These are just the first three principles here I want to share here with you. So we're going to recap again. First one, think about how to make their lives easier. Okay. Second one, 51-49. Give more than you ask from your VA, your VA from your team, because that's how you're going to build that foundation of trust and loyalty with them. Because you treat them well, they will treat you well most of the time. Okay. And then number 3 is the no naked questions policy, so that you're not the one that has to be Superman, Superwoman all the time when there is a problem. You want their help. You want them to be focused on delivering that too. Okay, so that you're training them up to make those decisions for your business so that when you're not here, things can still keep getting, the wheels can keep turning and the company can still continue to grow without you around all the time. Okay, these are the 3 principles that we lead here at OA. There's many more principles, but I want to focus on these 3 ones that I believe are core that a lot of people are not following in order to build their business and lead their remote teams, their local teams in the right manner so that then they create more time for themselves. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this episode here, right, about the 3 principles to leading your VA, your team here at Outsourcing Angel. And of course, if you want to learn more, head on over to our website, outsourcingangel.com, and feel free to grab some time with us as well if you feel like it's the right time for you to grab a VA here to help free up more of your time and grow your business as well. This is Richard signing off. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.